Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today's August 9th, 2017. It is a Wednesday. One thing I cannot handle: when people come to bring fear. We come bring truth. We come bring peace. Brian Williams bring fear. MSNBC bring fear. We bring truth. We bring peace. North Korea. Tell it, Leah.
Brian Williams said it was his job to scare.
Why? Why is it his job to scare the American people over North Korea? He is absolutely unequivocally telling you the truth in that one statement. Probably one of the only truthful statements that he's ever said.
We covered North Korea yesterday, and it seems to have been escalating. I'm going to take you to a couple clips. CNN. Yes, we know CNN is fake news, but this whole thing is fake news.
No matter what you hear out of anyone's mouth, including the president, on this issue, it's all fake news. Or disinformation.
We need to see what's going on. So Mattis is talking about North Korea here.
A warning from Defense Secretary James Mattis that North Korea should cease any consideration of actions that would lead to the end of its regime and the destruction of its people.
And North Korea knows
language. Mattis also telling the world North Korea's military will continue to be grossly overmatched by ours and would lose any arms race or conflict.
North Korea knows this.
A very different tone than Mattis's previous statements, emphasizing diplomacy and what war would mean for South Korea.
It will involve the massive shelling of an ally's capital, which is one of the most densely packed cities on Earth. It would be a war that fundamentally we don't want.
Kim Jong-un's regime undeterred.
Any plans to execute the preventive war devised by the U.S. would be met with an all-out war, wiping out all the strongholds of enemies, including the U.S. mainland.
All of this after North Korea threatened to attack Guam, a U.S. territory in the Western Pacific, where U.S. bombers are based and other aircraft that could be used to attack his regime.
He has been very threatening beyond a normal state.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says Trump's warning would hopefully keep Kim from reacting.
I think it was important that he deliver that message to avoid any miscalculation on their part.
If Tillerson was playing good cop, Mattis and the president were not.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
The commander of U.S. missile defenses told CNN the U.S. can defend against North Korean missiles today and in the future.
We can deal with the current threat as presented today. As the threat matures, we have a plan in place to mature our capabilities to deal with that threat.
The Secretary of State still trying to reassure.
I have nothing that I have seen and nothing that I know of would indicate that the situation has dramatically changed in the last 44 hours. I think Americans should sleep well at night.
So, you have Rex Tillerson, who obviously we can deduct from this.
Just minutes ago, North Korea putting
smart.
out very...
That's right there.
And he's one of the good guys, obviously. So thank you. We're actually learning as this is unfolding, good guy, bad guy. Now, Trump is stuck in the middle. What is he supposed to do when Mattis and the deep state is obviously causing some rifts in North Korea, sanctions being the big thing? And then Donald Trump, what he's supposed to say? Oh, yay, right? We're actually going to get to an interview that Trump had in 1999 when he talked about diplomacy and things like that. Now, this is, just to be sure, Kim Jong-un is nowhere near the same as Assad. These are two different characters, and we have to see them totally different. I had somebody comment on there after somebody posted that girl, that Korean girl that we saw who was a fling, and said, how do we even know this is true? Maybe she's making this up. Now,
oh, for crying out loud.
Once you catch on to one thing, you want to see it everywhere.
Right. So you see Bana Alabed and you see that it's false. Now the next thing you know, everybody is some sort of, stop it.
Exactly.
And I get that in the whole skeptic realm, the conspiracy theorist. It's like everything now is a conspiracy. You know what? There are some things you can just take at face value, guys.
Exactly. And this whole Korea thing is a distraction from Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch,
Seth Rich,
the Clinton scandals. They are just trying to push and push and push. We are going to bring you more fake news so that you can recognize what is fake news, so that you can know the truth. So if Brian Williams is saying we need you to be afraid, you don't need to be afraid.
Exactly.
From Secretary of State Tillerson on this subject. That is so not what we saw earlier today.
He's still in the region. He just landed in Kuala Lumpur. He's still on his mission, flying and stopping in Bangkok yesterday on his way back from that Asian Pacific summit. Look, there is diplomacy in play. We saw it at the United Nations. There's pressure. This could have been a signal to Beijing as well. You know, listen up, take this seriously. He could have been President Trump sending signals in a number of directions, but so ill-considered. You have reactions tonight from John McCain and from Dianne Feinstein. Dianne Feinstein saying that this is so ill-considered, that it's bombastic, that it is not helpful, that the only sure path is a diplomatic path. And I know she's been briefed by the military. She's a member of the Intelligence Committee, but I know personally that there have been briefings there. And from John McCain saying that no other American president that he's ever known would have used this language. Not Eisenhower, not Reagan, not any other president. And that if you're going to...
This coming from a man that wants war everywhere, every day, all the time.
You know, use the big Teddy Roosevelt stick. You've got to be prepared to use it. And he does not think President Trump is prepared to use that. And as to a surgical strike, I mean, General McCaffrey knows better than anyone. It's simply not possible. If you saw a missile on a launch pad, which we are not likely to see with as much lead time because they're now using solid state fuel and they're using mobile launchers and they're on underground rails and hidden targets. But if you did see it ready to launch and had intelligence, then maybe you could take something out and then still risk the retaliatory artillery strike, the fusillade that would wipe out through conventional weapons most of Seoul, 25 million people, 28,000 U.S. troops, 100,000 American civilians. But that would be the only instance where you might even think about something preemptively.
Malcolm, our job tonight actually is to scare people to death on this subject, so the talk isn't as free as it is about a preemptive or surgical...
We're going to stop it there. Yeah. He did just say that.
You guys, and I knew that coming into it, but just to hear him say it, it's like, are you serious right now? You actually just, it was a Freudian slip. I mean, I think he was actually supposed to say it, but he really does mean it. That is their job. They are trying to strike fear into the hearts of the American people.
This is the fake news, and I know anything that's coming out of CNN is fake. They're saying that
North Korea is seriously examining a plan to launch a missile strike targeting an area near the U.S. territory of Guam in response to President Donald Trump's warning to Pyongyang that any additional threats will be met with fire and fury.
Exactly. And so I've heard a lot of different things, you know, that one of them is that Obama knew of their capabilities. Tuesday's bombshell Washington Post story that the Defense Intelligence Agency has determined North Korea is capable of constructing miniaturized nuclear weapons that could be used as warheads for missiles, possibly ICBMs, left out a crucial fact. DIA actually concluded this in 2013. The Post also failed to mention that the Obama administration tried to downplay and discredit this report at this time.
So here's the thing. We are getting reports from all different people, and I want to make this very clear. We do follow InfoWars and Alex Jones. We talk about how much we love him. But the difference between Leah and Michelle and Resistance Chicks is we don't blindly follow anyone. And we are more than willing and happy to call out people even that we follow and enjoy when they're getting it wrong. Alex Jones today's show, if you guys watched it, is wrong, okay? He is trying to come out and say that we would have to respond with these nukes, and if that's what Trump says that we're going to have to do, then you guys have to understand that, you know, it would be impossible to go at this with like a regular war, that we're going to have to nuke. You guys, I'm just like...
Actually, he did come out later and say, He did come out later and
Okay,
say, I came out with fear and we don't need to be afraid.
Okay, good. Very good.
So,
well, I missed that. So, okay. So I called him out on it and then he called himself out on it. Very good. We don't need to have fear. This is a disinformation. There are things that we are meant to miss by this fear.
Yeah, and I'm not even angry at Alex Jones. I'm not angry at everybody.
I'm not angry at anybody.
I'm not upset. Honestly, with this, I can't tell you exactly what's going on because I don't know. Because these are things that we're not privy to. What I do know, and this is the angle that I can bring you. I know that Brian Williams is a liar.
Yep.
So if he says to be afraid, you don't need to be afraid. I know that CNN always spins things into fake news. And I know that John McCain is a liar. I know that Dianne Feinstein is a liar.
Right.
So I know that the real truth is whatever it is the opposite of what they're saying. So Donald Trump probably was right to say, we will meet you with fire and fury. However, as McCain said, I don't think he's prepared to do that. Now, that brings me to this interview from 1999 with Donald Trump.
Nuclear capability.
First, I'd negotiate. I would negotiate like crazy, and I'd make sure that we tried to get the best deal possible. Look, Tim, if a man walks up to you on a street in Washington, because this doesn't happen, of course, in New York, but if a man walks up and puts a gun to your head and says, give me your money, wouldn't you rather know where he's coming from before he had the gun in his hand? And these people, in 3 or 4 years, are going to be having nuclear weapons. They're going to have those weapons pointed all over the world, and specifically at the United States. And wouldn't you be better off solving this really potentially unbelievable, and the biggest problem, I mean, we can talk about the economy, we can talk about Social Security. The biggest problem this world has is nuclear proliferation. And we have a country out there, North Korea, which is sort of wacko, which is not a bunch of dummies, and they are going out and they are developing nuclear weapons. And they're not doing it because they're having fun doing it, they're doing it for a reason. And wouldn't it be good to sit down and really negotiate something, and ideally negotiate? Now, if that negotiation doesn't work, you better solve the problem now than solve it later, Tim. And you know it, and every politician knows it, and nobody wants to talk about it. Jimmy Carter, who I really like, and he went over there, it was so soft. These people are laughing at us.
The former general of the Air Force, Merrill McPeak, the former Secretary of Defense, Les Aspin, said you could not launch a preemptive strike against North Korea because the nuclear fallout could be devastating to the Asian Peninsula.
I'm not talking about us using nuclear weapons. I'm saying that they have areas where they're developing missiles.
So taking out their nuclear potential would create a fallout.
Tim, do you know that this country went out and gave them nuclear reactors, free fuel for 10 years? We virtually tried to bribe them into stopping, and they're continuing to do what they're doing, and they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of dummies. I'm saying that we have to do something to stop.
But if the military told you, Mr. Trump, we can't do this.
You give me 2 names. You're giving me 2 names. I don't know. Do you want to do it in 5 years when they have warheads all over the place, every one of them pointing to New York City, to Washington, and every one of our... Is that when you want to do it, or do you want to do something now?
So here's the thing, when you do have a crazy man with the ability to nuke people, that is a worldwide threat. Mm-hmm. Is our country a worldwide threat? Absolutely. And that's why we have the kind of craziness and the wars that we have right now. I want to take you to Sebastian Gorka actually here. And this is actually a CNN interview. I think I've got it queued up.
Answers is a guy named Sebastian Gorka, and we had a chance to talk to him earlier today. He is the deputy assistant, one of the deputy assistants to the President of the United States, especially on national security. He's the good doctor. The doctor is in, and we had a chance.
746.
Yeah, I think it'll just take me there.
Hopefully.
It's a little earlier today to discuss North Korea and a host of other issues.
No, that's good.
Oh, chance a little earlier today to discuss North Korea and a host of other issues. How long?
Well, Dr. Gorka, thank you so much for joining us. It's a question a lot of Americans are wondering at this point. Give us your honest assessment. How close do you think we really are to going to war with North Korea?
So right now, when it comes to what North Korea has been doing in flagrant breach of all international requirements upon it when it comes to nuclear weapons testing or ballistic missiles testing, the ball is in Pyongyang's court. What we had at the weekend is a truly historic moment. Just think about the fact and thanks to the good offices of the President, Ambassador Haley, and Secretary Tillerson, we had all members of the UN Security Council, not just the 10 temporary rotating members, but the 5 permanent members with veto powers, to include Russia and China, bring the stiffest, harshest sanctions package against that Stalinist dictatorial regime ever. They must now de-escalate. Secretary Tillerson at the ASEAN meeting 2 days ago said, if they stop their ballistic missile testing, we will know we have an act of good faith. So right now, the message is clear. This president will take whatever measures necessary to protect this nation. It is now up to North Korea to de-escalate.
Dr. Gorka, I want to get your reaction to a clip that just came out recently. This was back in 1999. Then Donald Trump, not President
Korea's nuclear capability.
Dr. Gorka, it sure sounds like he's talking about potential preemptive strikes in terms of his mindset back then. What's your sense today?
Well, look, the president was incredibly prescient. That's almost 2 decades ago. And he was making a very, very important point. If you acquiesce to dictatorships, whether it's Hitler with the Munich Agreement of 1938, or whether it's with the Soviet Union during the Cold War, it never works. Appeasement emboldens dictators. We've seen this all through modern history, and his critique back then is sound today. Dictatorships do not want what we want. They wish to destabilize the international system.
I'm going to stop it there, and this is one of those moments where, you know, Sebastian Gorka, he believed, I don't know if he honestly believes it, but he came out and said that Assad had the weapons of,
had done the chemical attack.
And so I like Sebastian Gorka, actually, on a lot of different things. I think that he was wrong on the chemical weapons. And I think that President Trump heard us speak out. But the point there that he said is that the ball's in the crazy man's court. And we're watching a tennis match play out on the side court when there's a huge match being played in the main court.
Exactly.
And so while North Korea is a match, do we need to be focused on the side court or the main court? North Korea is not a threat to us. North Korea is a very small country. We have one of the biggest, or not the biggest, military in the world. We aren't afraid of an ant. Okay?
However, that being said, there is a measure of fear. We would never want any of our people to die.
Right.
It's kind of like getting shot. Okay. Right. You know that North Korea has like a 22 and they can shoot you and right. It's still going to hurt and you're still going to get shot, when the goal is to not get shot at all. Okay. He's going to be, if he were to take matters into his hands and decide to do this thing, there would be American lives lost.
But he does not have the capability.
But if that were the case,
his little woman, you could see that his spokeswoman that he came out was
right.
a puppet. He was whoever was in the back of her head was controlling her mouth.
Right.
She knows, and we all know, they do not have the ability to wipe out the United States.
No,
they do not have the ability to do these crazy things. That's what I'm trying to tell people is, we aren't afraid of him. This is a little small issue that's getting blown up into a big issue.
To wipe out the United States, but anytime anybody has a nuclear weapon of any size, you do need to take it seriously, but to cripple the United States. What would happen is, I know, if it could even make it here, probably not.
This is not an issue.
But just in case, you do have to have it in the back of your mind. All right, this could happen. This could be a possibility. That being said, the goal that I think, and this is just Michelle's theory, is that the powers that be want nothing more than for Trump's presidency to start off in its infancy with him launching nuclear war, regardless of who it is with. Okay, and I can see easily how it could happen because Trump is constantly being fed misinformation. He already sent off the missiles to Syria. Granted, it only killed a few people, but it still did kill some people. They've already shown that they can make Trump trigger happy. And when you're talking nukes, that's a big deal.
I do, though, but did you hear Trump in 1999? I have to give credit where credit is due. He is much more reserved, I believe, than people give him credit for.
I agree, too. But
I think he thinks things through a lot more. And I think General Tillerson, or Admiral Secretary of State Tillerson had it right when he said, go to sleep, you're going to be fine. General Mattis is in there. He's in there playing good cop, bad cop, not with General Tillerson, but with McCain and Feinstein. Madison's pushing for it. McCain is trying to, Madison and McCain are designed to make Trump go crazy, to make him think he's going
And my
insane.
point is not that they would be able to get him to pull the trigger, but they think that they can. They absolutely think that they can, and that is why they are doing this.
Yeah, but I'm not afraid. See, that's why I feel like I want people to know this is not a big deal.
No, it's not.
This is not a big deal.
Because once again, they are causing us to look at this issue when it's not at all where our focus should be.
I know.
They're hiding and disguising something much bigger that you should be afraid of.
Right. So that's
behind
why
the scenes.
That's why I was telling you guys that we are a huge army. That we've seen their missile attempts. They are nothing. He is nothing.
Right.
Kim Jong-un, forget how I can't say his stupid name. He's nobody.
Yep.
He is nothing, okay? He is a fly on the wall, and everybody keeps saying, look at the fly, so we don't see the giant circus happening over here.
And he really likes the attention.
And he loves the attention. He can do pomp and circumstance and all these things, and he is laughing to the bank because he knows that he can say whatever he wants. He knows that people think he's crazy, so he knows he can say whatever he wants. Well, I just might bomb Guam. There's next in the middle of August, I just might bomb Guam. Well, if you really were going to bomb Guam, you would have done it. You don't tell people that you're going to do it.
Exactly.
Okay? This is a baby. This is a child. This is a child mindset. It's not real. Go to sleep. This guy's an idiot, and get focused on the real things, the real issues that are happening right now.
Right. Exactly. And spread them, because we make videos about them. So share them on your social media pages.
So my whole point of making this video was to say it's a non-issue.
It's a non-issue.
Right.
All right, you guys, this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Like, comment, subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Sleep easy.
Sleep easy.
Sleep easy.
I was cold.